Welcome to the Sci-Fi Evolution channel. What the target is a human, no. I heard what you said. I just don't think there's any way in the galaxy anyone could be that monumentally stupid. I was led to believe that the Black Hand assassins could kill anything. You keep that name out of your thrice-damned mouth around here. Well, we had to abandon that name after a bad deal with the Delin Empire years ago. I don't care about any empire. I want you to kill a human. The assassin's mandibles clicked angrily in agitation. We don't take contracts to kill humans. Then I'll just contract someone else. You can try, none of the other guilds in the galaxy will take that job. Even if you found an independent with a death wish, they won't get the job done without them dying or ratting you out. You can't really believe that humans are unkillable. I never said they were unkillable. Quite the contrary. I personally know that they are definitely mortal. But we don't take on contracts for killing humans. Kill them? Why? And all hell's not because the only way to kill a human and live long enough to enjoy the money from the job is to drop a neutron bomb on them from orbit, just to be safe. Then you grab the fastest ship you can and leave before the rest of the humans find out what you did. After that, I suggest finding a way to another galaxy and staying there for the rest of your miserable life. You're having me on? Tell me, does the planet you come from have compulsory education? What does that have to do with anything? Indulge me. Yes, 10 years of teaching our young how to be as obedient as a drone sounds about right for any government-run public education. You learn any history lessons there, but they must not teach galactic history. Then sit back, and I'll tell you why. No assassin worth their blade will take on a contract to kill a human. The drinks were ordered, and the old assassin took a long sip. Before he turned to his new drinking companion, you remember I mentioned the Delin Empire. Yes, what of it? Do you know what happened to them? Their empire broke after they poured too many resources into trying to tame a death world. The death world was the human cradle, and the planet did not break the Delphin. The humans did not know how the assassin had taken another long drink of his beer. The Delphin Empire used to rule half of the galaxy. Hundreds of species and civilizations were held in thraldom or crushed into dust. Serve or die was the Delphan way. The council that presided over what was not Delphan territory back then could do little to stop the ever-churning war machine that drove Delphan expansion. They would posture and debate and even beg, but nothing they did could slow the inexorable march of the Delphan system. By system, the galaxy was falling under the rule of the Emperor. Then they happened upon a system called Soul by its inhabitants. The name was not being used for any other system, so the Delin let them keep it. The humans resided on the third planet of the system. Poor sods. They had just started exploring their home system when the Delphan came knocking. The Delpan divided the planet into various socio-economic groups, which they called countries. This made it easier for them, as the fractured nations of humans were slow to respond. The legions swept across the land without their next target being any WI about their doom approaching thanks to communication jammers. Despite all these disadvantages, the humans resisted mightily. One galactic standard month passed before the Delpin claimed dominion over the planet. Most pre-FTL worlds fell within a week, but those humans fought like demons. Especially when the remaining countries finally figured out that they were being invaded. They even managed to bring the Delpan ground troops to a halt. Once reinforcements were dropped, the last bastion of resistance fell. There was the usual administrative tedium of splitting the new slaves into work groups and assigning them jobs that would benefit their new overlords. Surviving humans were farmers and ranchers, so the Delpan let them continue to do what they were good at. The Delpan army marched on its stomach, as the old human saying goes, and the Delpan war machine was hungry indeed. A few 100,000 humans were taken off-world to work in mines elsewhere. Those humans were unnaturally strong and durable due to the high gravity of their home world. so they excelled at the dangerous task of mining. The species conquered by the Delphin usually followed a similar pattern. After the initial conquest, there was a period of relative peace, followed by a few years of rebellions. Once those rebellions were suppressed, there usually wasn't enough resistance left to try again. The survivors simply accepted their fate. I gave up hope that these humans would follow the script. They grudgingly fell in line a few months after the invasion was over, and when the expected uprising never happened, I imagine the Delpans were feeling pretty proud of themselves for beating the fight out of the primates. If I had only one compliment to give to the humans, it would be that they are natural hunters who know how to wait patiently for the perfect time to strike. For 20 Earth years, the humans worked and lived and bred like clinging rats. Not that the Delpan cared how many more humans were being born. More meat for the grinder, they would say. They would even offer incentives, such as extra rations and special privileges, if a human female produced more than 4 offspring. If only the Delpin knew that the humans were not breeding more workers, but were growing an army. The human administrators and rulers that surrendered to the Delpin were at least half-fake puppets sent to give the illusion of surrender. The real governments hid underground, literally in some cases, and continued to direct their forces from secret training camps and nighttime schools. They secretly printed pamphlets about how to throw off the chains of oppression one day. Those humans were clever in hiding everything from their overlords. Then, when the Delpan war front was dozens of systems away, on their conquest of the galaxy, it was time for the humans' leaders, long hidden in secret holes, to plan. Scraps of stolen Delpan tech were being meticulously reverse-engineered by their scientists. They had been gathering resources for their rebellion since they surrendered. While the Delpan were gloating, the humans were preparing, and now, finally, ready, they made their move. It was small at first. All rebellions are a rogue miner refusing to work. Here a rancher telling his overlord that his entire herd was wiped out by some non-existent disease. There was a factory explosion over here. Larger disturbances to production soon followed. The human country of France, with its long history of rebelling against tyrants, would riot in the streets, while crying out, "Viva Revolution." Don't ask me what that means. I never bothered learning human languages. A crate of plasma rifles went missing. Then a grav tank wouldn't start. When they popped the hood, they found it to be completely gutted of all power and anti-grav components. The Delpan leaders thought these problems were beneath them, but still needed addressing, so they called the Black Hand Assassins and others. Guilds like ours are tasked with dealing with the rebels. Our services cost the Empire a tidy sum. I can tell you that the planet of humans, I believe they call it, has at least 3 times the average galactic gravity. Every agent we send has to be fitted with a gravity assist suit and spend a week getting used to it after making planet fall. At first, our agents thought that the human rebels were ghosts. They could see the aftermath of sabotage, but never any evidence to prove who had done it. They would be patrolling the streets when suddenly, the streets would empty. Before the agent could wonder where the humans had gone, an explosion would rock the street, sometimes taking the agent with it. One of our agents got so angry by the death of a friend, he went to a random, completely unrelated town and started executing humans when they couldn't answer his questions about who was responsible. Unsurprisingly, a mob turned on him after the 3rd execution. And I can't blame the Delpin for not paying the death fee for that. Our contract was to stop riots, not cause them. The contract was quickly going wrong. Sure, we were killing humans, like we were paid to, with the kind of surgical precision we were known for. But what good is money if you can't even spend it? Before long, we couldn't walk on their planet without heavy escort from Delpin troops. The humans would strike without warning and fade into the background. On the human continent of Africa, an agent was lured onto the savannah, chasing one of the human rebels, only to find himself set upon by a pack of feline predators. Those humans had even wrangled the lesser beasts of their world into fighting. The number of agents we lost to the canine companion species cannot be easily counted. And the less I say about the death trap, the happier I am. The regional administration center fell silent, and by the time the Delpan nobles finally noticed this new problem, the entire planet had gone silent. Not just dirt, but anywhere a human had been taken to work showed similar signs of resistance. One can only assume that they had been fostering rebellious ideas with the other slave species of the Delphan. The gods only know how they managed to communicate with each other across the vast expanse of space. Before you say anything, yes, the Delphan did have patrol vessels meandering through the region to suppress this kind of thing. But those had also gone silent. The humans had gotten spies aboard and either destroyed or captured the vessels. These too were sent to the scientists to be examined, and now, without Delphan supervision, the humans uncovered the secret factory and forces they had been cultivating for years. Huge manufactories churning out components for space docks and eventually starships. The newly discovered launch facilities hurled several thousand tons of material into orbit every day. By the time the Lightspeed response vessels reached human space, they were no match for the humble fleet that humans had managed to build with stolen Delphan technology. It is no lie to say that Delpans were victims of their own arrogance, as they lost response vessels and patrol fleets every time they attempted to respond. They were too focused on expanding their borders to notice the rot eating away at their empire. When the Delpan finally got tired of sending light response fleets into the area, they decided to pull their conquest fleet from the front. The human world and the next 3 systems they conquered had fallen silent when the conquest fleet arrived. 10 systems out from Sol, they faced a fleet of not just humans, but all slave species in the region. After that victory for the humans, the Delpan Emperor must have been nervous. All of his fleets were halfway across the galaxy, and the humans were between him and his armies. An emergency call went out for all fleets to immediately recall directly to the imperial capital, and any guilds, like the Black Hand, were called in to assist. By that time, we had lost almost 2/3 of our guild, so we refused the call. It ultimately saved us. Decades of clandestine operations have been well-versed in fitting out spies and saboteurs within their own ranks. 7 other assassin guilds have been completely wiped out. We knew it was a fool's errand, no matter how much the Empire was willing to pay. While the Delpan fleet gathered in their home system, plans were made to meticulously spread out and search the Empire for rebels. This ended up being the final nail in the coffin. You see, while the Delpan Empire consolidated and planned, the humans spread quickly through the now enemy-free void and went to every subservient species in the Empire, throwing down the Delpan administrators, controlling them, and gathering them to the cause. Everywhere the humans went, they fanned the flames of rebellion and the galaxy burned. The ineffective council in the part of the galaxy that had yet to be conquered by the Empire eagerly joined with the humans in their fight. The oppressed and enslaved had joined them. The Delpan Empire was finally broken by the human alliance. The ships and agricultural worlds were still being produced, but the supply lines had been cut off, causing internal strife within the imperial forces. Fleets of conquest left the imperial capital, but never made it beyond a dozen systems before being attacked by the alliance. Like lightning, the humans struck and disappeared into the black. Despite their best efforts, the Delpan fleets were never able to defeat the humans in a fair fight. This went on for months, as the Delpan legions slowly lost their strength due to ambushes, false distress signals, and EMP mines hidden in the wreckage. Nothing was spared by the humans until the Allied fleets finally reached Delpan Prime. There, they found a starving population with no hope of survival. The fractured fleet was torn to pieces when the human admiral hailed the Delpan captains. They saw the sheer size of the armada before them and surrendered immediately. With the rebellion now finished after 3 years of fighting, the humans unleashed their most vicious weapon, They dragged the Delpan emperor from his throne and rounded up all the Delpan nobles and administrators who had ever oppressed sapient beings. The humans drugged them through our modern court system, which was far more civilized than the Delpan court, where the accused were brought before the emperor or a representative, charges were read, and the accused were shot without even the opportunity to defend themselves. By the time the trials were finished, the emperor had died of old age, and his successor was forced to write about the wrongs done to the galaxy by the EMP Empire. The Delpan was broken, and all that remains of it is a few scattered systems in the outer reaches of the galactic southern arm. Many feared that the humans would turn around and conquer the galaxy for themselves, but within a year of the Delpan's surrender, the humans dismantled over half of their fleet and scattered the rest around the galaxy for pirate hunting and general peacekeeping. Our guild was extremely lucky that the humans understood that we had broken our contract, and they let us live, promising that the Black Hand would be permanently dismantled. Those humans whittled us down to a mere third of our number before the rebellion even left their home planet. A third. We were the top assassin guild in the galaxy, and now we are a loose, unnamed group of independent agents. So you see, young one, we don't kill humans. You kill a human, and their family will hunt you down. If you kill their family, the species will hunt you down, and you had better pray. They kill you because, if their lawyers get their hands on you, you'll be lucky. If your own people are forced to kill you as an apology, I had no idea. It's painfully obvious that I'm not normally one to pry into a customer's business. But what did this human do to offend you? They insulted my brother, the assassin. Laughed. Is that all? Then insult them back. If it really bothers you, then punch them in the face. But you said we don't kill humans. Those crazy apes love to fight with words as well as their fists, and you'd have a better chance of survival that way. Chances are, you wouldn't be able to physically hurt them, but if you took the time to explain to them that you were offended, they may even apologize. They would do that because they are monsters on the battlefield and demons when they have been wronged, but they aren't uncivilized. If they were, they couldn't have rebuilt the council to what it is today. They hold the head, the chair position, and will likely continue for generations to come. They are a fair race, but fair in their adjudication. The assassin drained the last drops in his glass and looked at the empty vessel. Now, my cup is empty. Unless you wish to refill it, I think we are done here. What is the target?